Could an economy truly function without interest? Today, almost every financial system in the world is built on interest. Loans, debt, growth, everything revolves around it. Yet, there is a question we rarely stop to ask: what is money actually meant to do? On this channel, we explore questions like these, not through slogans or politics, but by looking deeply at history, ethics, and the ideas that shaped civilizations. To understand this question, we need to step back nearly 14 centuries to a time without banks, without central authorities, and without modern financial institutions. A world shaped by trade, trust, and moral limits. In the deserts of Arabia, agriculture was limited. Survival depended on commerce. Merchant caravans traveled long distances, connecting cities and regions through trade routes that stretched from Mecca to Yemen and from Mecca to Damascus. Wealth existed, debt existed, markets existed, but interest did not. Within this environment, a man grew up who understood trade not as theory but as lived reality. Before his prophethood, Muhammad was a merchant. He negotiated, bought, sold, and traveled with caravans. This matters because the economic principles that later emerged were not abstract ideas, they were shaped by real market experience. The system that developed allowed free trade. People were free to earn profits and build wealth, but freedom had boundaries. Deception was forbidden, false measurements were not allowed, hoarding was discouraged, monopolies were rejected, exploitation through interest was prohibited. The message was clear: you may earn, but not by harming others. Prices were not artificially controlled by the state, yet morality was not optional. This was a market economy guided by ethics. At the center of this system was a fundamental rule: money itself could not create more money without risk or effort. Interest was absent because it rewards gain without work and profit without responsibility. Instead, debt functioned as a tool of cooperation, not exploitation. When profit was made, risk was shared, loss was shared as well. To prevent wealth from accumulating endlessly in a few hands, a balancing mechanism existed. Zakat was more than a spiritual obligation, it was an economic circulation system. Wealth was redirected toward those on the margins of society. These individuals were not excluded from the economy, they were protected within it, because a society, by this logic, is only as strong as its most vulnerable members. There was also a public treasury, used not for rulers' luxury but for shared needs. Wealth circulated instead of stagnating. Luxury and access were not symbols of success. Waste and showmanship were discouraged. The true measure of value was labor. Workers' rights were sacred. Unjust gain was rejected. Money was never the goal. It was a tool. This channel exists to ask uncomfortable questions about systems we take for granted, not to give easy answers, but to invite deeper thinking. Today, debt feels normal, interest feels unavoidable, wealth concentrates in fewer hands, and still we hesitate to ask the most important question: who does money truly serve? This is not a call to return to the past, but it is a reminder that another economic logic once existed and it worked. Perhaps the real problem today is not money itself, but the values guiding it. And sometimes meaningful change begins by asking the right question again.